Governor's Gym. If you could follow me to the consultation room. Are you looking forward to getting started? Anything in particular you want to try out? There's lots of different ways to get the same results, so getting fit can be fun if we do things we like. Here we are, please take a seat. Okay, we're looking at some toning and defining, along with some weight loss, or as the gym rats would say, getting cuts. So, we're going to find a program that suits your time and maximizes your results. So, we're going to find a program that suits your free time and maximizes your results. At a high level, we try to look at things monthly, well, every 4 weeks, while weekly you can do a weight and waist check to make sure everything is going according to plan. I'm going to take a number of measurements as a starting point to help track this journey. Oh, well, there's lots of different measurements depending on the goals. For some clients, we track muscle growth, so upper arm, tricep, bicep, also legs, quads and hams, and lower around the calves. Then there's chest, waist and hips. There's also athletic measurements like body fat percentage, which is a calculation of how much someone's total body weight is actual fat, which is useful for someone like a bodybuilder who's trying to figure out if they're gaining muscle or fat. I think for your goals, the key ones are something like BMI, so height and weight, then also the waist. At a later point in time, we can revise goals and maybe add some others to track. But for now, this will be a good starting point. Okay, if you could stand over there by the wall, move back a tiny bit, no cheating, shift your weight onto your heels and lift your toes, tuck your chin in a little. Got it? Okay, now if you could stand on this scale, deep breath, hold, and breathe out, relax. Great. Now, just lift your arms out slightly. This one, just a little lower, finally. Okay, all done. The reason for the weight and waist is sometimes one may go down while the other remains the same. But if both of them go up, it's a sign that the plan needs revising, or you decided to eat a large meal before weigh-in, which is not a good idea. Ideally, you should only weigh yourself once, or at most twice a week, and always first thing in the morning. While you hear a lot about body mass index, it's just a tool to see, on average, where people fit. It doesn't take into account the difference between fat and muscle, meaning if you take someone like a bodybuilder and look at their BMI, you'll end up with a very obese person that actually only has 7% body fat. BMI isn't that useful. Let's talk meal planning. Now, this isn't going to be anything crazy. Some like to overcomplicate things. If you're a pro bodybuilder or top level athlete, then it can make a not out here to win the Olympics. Well, not just yet. There's no diet. This isn't a temporary change to how you'll eat, but a permanent one. Don't worry, there's always room for special occasions, but that's the key. They're occasional. So, onto the basics. To lose weight, calories in must be less than calories used. There's two ways to achieve this. Eat less or exercise more. What we really need is a little of both. It's good to understand what our metabolism is and what it does for us. It's the process for maintaining the living state of all our cells. It keeps us alive by turning food into what the body requires for continued existence. When we look at food, we say that's a piece of meat, while to our metabolism, that piece of meat is actually a bunch of nutrients which it synthesizes into new proteins, nucleic acids, which go on to rebuild our body. The expression, you are what you eat, is actually 100% true. The food we eat is used to repair and sustain our bodies, but the metabolism has to work with what it's given. So when we eat junk food, that just means our metabolism isn't going to get all the required nutrients to rebuild the body. Like a bad workman blames his tools, a bad metabolism blames its food. While the healthy food contains all the nutrients our bodies require to make good repairs and keep everything in tip-top shape. Food is made up of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Carbohydrates are primarily used as energy to power the body. Proteins are used to build and repair it. Fat is very important too, for things like healthy cells, building the brain, hormone levels, and healthy skin. All of those give us energy. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrate is also 4 calories, but 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. Fat is the most energy dense. This is why you have to watch how much fat is in your diet. Almost done with the science lesson, but you'll only be wasting your time in the gym if you're not making good food choices in the kitchen. Every meal should have a good source of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Now, two popular ratios are 40, 30, 30. So that means 40% of your daily calories should be coming from carbs, 30% from protein, and 30% from fat. Sometimes this is called the zone diet and used for weight loss, while 40-40-20 is more a muscle building ratio, 40% carbs and protein with 20% fats. While this can be used for fat loss, it's more about trying to gain muscle. Both can be a good place to start, depending on your goals. Also, just as important, don't forget to drink a lot of water. gallon a day. It makes working out easier as you won't be as thirsty. Good sources of protein are egg whites, but not the yellows, whey, fish, turkey, and chicken. Then you want complex carbohydrates and fiber from whole grains. It's best to skip carbs that are sugar-based, even if it's natural sugar, also known as fructose. Fats should come from healthy fat sources, such as salmon, avocado, nuts, not from animal fats and oils. A quick tip: change from potato to sweet potato, and from drinking milk to unsweetened almond milk, and no more adding sugar to anything. Now, the final bit on the metabolism, and the important bit. The human body, even if it's just laying in bed all day, will burn calories. If you have a fast metabolism, it will use more calories, and a slow metabolism will use less calories. Exercise forces the metabolism to speed up, as it has to repair the body afterwards, while exercise also uses calories at the same time, so it's doubly effective. Also, the more muscle we have, the more work the metabolism needs to do. This in turn burns more calories. Exercise and muscle are a great combination for weight loss. It's also important to keep eating enough food. If we don't eat enough, after a period of time, the metabolism will slow down, simply because there isn't enough food in reserve for it to process. This is the body going into starvation mode, and this will kill your diet, as the only way out of starvation mode is through eating more. In a large part, this is the reason for yo-yo diets. People stop eating, body slows down metabolism, people stop losing weight, give up, go back to old eating habits, and body now stores food as fat. So, the plan is to use exercise to boost the metabolism and burn calories while making a small reduction in the daily calorie intake. 1 pound of fat is equal to 3,500 calories. That means to lose 1 pound in a week, we need to remove 3,500 calories over 7 days, or 500 a day. Now, let's say if you eat 1,800 calories a day, you will neither gain nor lose weight. So, 1,800 minus 500 leaves you with 1,200 calories. That's not a lot of food. What we're going to do is remove only 200 calories from food and do 300 calories worth of exercise. That gives us the 500, and you can still eat 1,600 calories of food. This way, your metabolism still has lots of food to burn, and the exercise is both being used to create a calorie deficit to lose weight and forcing the metabolism to remain remain highly active, rebuilding the body after a workout. We're trying to create eating habits that can be kept for months without it feeling like we're being deprived of the food we love. This is a slower approach to weight loss and designed to help stop the cravings that come with food restricted dieting. So that's 300 a day or 2,100 over a week. Now, if I remember, you said you're hoping to hit the gym 4 times a week, so that means you'll need to burn 525 calories per session. Now, if you want to eat or drink more food at any time, all that's needed is more exercise. So every calorie above your target burned in the gym needs to be eaten. Otherwise, you'll remove too many calories from your diet. So you can still have what's called a cheat meal. Things we know we shouldn't eat, but they make life that little bit more fun when done. From time to time, when you eat carbohydrates, they're digested and absorbed into the bloodstream in the form of glucose, blood sugar. This triggers the pancreas to release the hormone insulin. The amount of insulin released will correspond to the amount and type of carbohydrates consumed. It's important to eat complex carbohydrates for this reason. One of the reasons for the increase in diabetes is from all the refined carbohydrates in processed food. Refined carbohydrates are made from plants which are high in carbohydrate and are processed in a way to strip out everything but the highly digestible sugar or starch. This has the effect of concentrating the carbohydrate, breaking it down so the body processes it very quickly. This is bad, generally causing a high rise in blood sugar, glycemic response. The process also usually removes the fiber and most of the nutrients in the food. Refined carbohydrates include sugars, anything called starch, corn starch, modified food starch, or anything like flakes, puffs, shreds, are rarely made from whole grains. If you overconsume carbohydrates, or if you consume the wrong types of carbohydrates, there will be a sharp peak in blood sugar, followed by a sharp rise in insulin. The over-secretion of insulin will quickly remove the sugar from your bloodstream, and your blood sugar will drop to lower than normal levels. Hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia will cause fatigue and will trigger the intense hunger and craving that can derail even the strongest willpower. The result is you invariably consume more sugar to satisfy your cravings, and then the energy peak and energy crash carbohydrates with protein in a balanced meal to stop those highs from happening and keep a more stable blood sugar level. It will help with cravings and also your health. Personally, I view sugars as poison. Those chocolate bars are trying to kill us if we eat too many of them. If you have to eat junk food, try to always do it after eating a balanced meal, as this will help reduce the effects of all that sugar hitting the bloodstream at once. It's important to know the difference between eating when hungry and eating when bored. Always ask yourself, why are you eating? On to the fun stuff, the exercising. I'm going to go through some of the different options for cardio. Low impact is good for getting started and an easy entry point, generally used for long, slow workouts, not very time effective, but good at getting the body used to regular exercising and the heart rate pumping, but not overtaxing it. As your fitness levels improve, it's important to move up the intensity level. Something like a recumbent bike is a good place to start, as it's like sitting in a chair and only moving your legs. Speaking from personal experience, it's a lot more comfortable if you're on the larger size. At one point, I was over 370 pounds. Even walking was uncomfortable, as I had to carry all the weight. While this starts off as a light workout, 100 to 200 calories in 30 minutes, as you get fitter, it's surprisingly good. The intensity can be increased over a period of time by upping the average revolutions per minute and increasing the resistance level. The harder you work, the more calories you burn. This option shouldn't be ignored. It is possible to output 230 watts for over 45 minutes and burn around 750 calories, although that's getting close to the maximum you can expect, and pushing yourself hard at over 85% of your max heart rate. Now, there is a downside. It's a very isolated exercise, meaning the rest of the muscles in the body don't really do much work while you're sitting there. It's good for burning calories when mobility is an issue and as a starting point, but you really want to be working out as many muscles as possible. This exercise stuff, it's not all about the calories. Now, between that and walking is how I got most of my cardio when I decided to live a healthier lifestyle. Walking is another good form of cardio, also considered low impact, but like I was saying, the larger you are, the harder this is. 30 minutes of walking is very good and by far the easiest way to introduce exercising into your daily routine. I would highly recommend investing in a GPS watch with heart rate monitor. Without a heart rate monitor, it can be very difficult to calculate the number of calories burned. It's well worth picking one up. The goal of walking is to do it a little bit faster than your normal, casual pace. It's as basic as it gets. All that's needed is a good pair of walking shoes, and you're all set. Here at the gym, we've a great climate control for those days that are too hot or too cold, or when the weather just isn't great for walking. Spinning is a bit more of a dynamic workout and a good next step. It's a very popular class. This is closer to actual cycling, so the core is getting more involved in the actual workout. Classes are 30 minutes. The calories burned are based off weight and how hard you push, but it should be possible to get a good 450 calories burned each session. I'm a very big fan of running. A comfortable pair of runners and you're all set for the open road. Although it is important to keep some things in mind to help avoid injury. Good running form is important. We can go over this in more detail at another time, but I'd recommend using something called a midfoot or forefoot style. Some runners land on their heels as if they're still walking. This is really bad and not how the human body was designed to run. Just try running like that in your bare feet. You'll very quickly find yourself wanting to land on the front part of your foot. Forefoot or midfoot running is a much kinder technique as it works with the body. It uses your foot, ankle, and calf as a natural shock absorber. Heel strike running is a very bad way to run, but shoes have so much padding, people don't really notice how bad it is. The other thing is to ease into running. Start out going for walks and then running a short distance and build it up till you can run kilometers and then watch the miles clock up. Once the body gets used to running, takes a month or two, but after that, running is all in your head. People normally stop running because the mind gives up, not the body. Also, never run on an injury, as the running motion puts a lot of strain on the joints and muscles. Finally, running gets you high. Jump rope, or skipping as I grew up calling it. Yeah, well, just try telling a boxer that that's just for girls. It's one of the best all-round cardio workouts. It involves timing to keep the mind alert, strong lungs and calves. Done at a good pace, this is one great workout, not only from a calorie perspective, but also great for building up legs and your core. The trick to skipping is all about good timing and learning to bounce like a boxer. The only downside is the learning curve. While not hard, some people just don't give this exercise the initial time it requires to get proficient. Swimming is an awesome way to work out if you have a good pool. It's great because it's something anybody of any age or size can do. The pressure of the water means you can work out just as hard on land and in water, but your slower, which is great for people with low fitness levels. Plus, it's a total body workout. There are some disadvantages to swimming. First, you need to know how to swim, and a lot of that is trusting the water. Then, there's finding the style of swimming and learning good breath control. Another disadvantage to swimming is finding a good pool that has hours to suit your work schedule and isn't packed with floaters. Nothing worse in a pool than people who just float there doing nothing and you have to try and swim around them. In my opinion, running is by far the best all-rounder, followed by skipping, only because skipping requires a skipping rope, and then there's a couple of hours learning before you really start to get in the swing of it. While swimming is a bit better, it does require access to a pool, so that somewhat limits when and where you can work out. I think this is a good point to move on to the weight machines, the anaerobic exercises. We can talk about the different exercises and machines as we walk around the gym. That way I can demonstrate and let you try them out for yourself, as we'll need to figure out a starting weight for each machine. Alrighty, if you want to head out there, thank you.